friends. Thank you for joining us. Yes. We are going to open this just by saying that we hope that we are the clearest channels for spirit that we are, and that our intent is for the love and uplifting of humanity in the beings that we are being of service to, that they are able to come through as clear channels as we can be and deliver the message that they are here to be of service. So we are in partnership with Spirit. And I think that Megan is going to be working today in trance. So would you like to say anything, Megan, or you already kind of
Yeah.
going?
So blah, 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 blah. Yeah, well, one, my neighbor is like moving his trash can, so it was noisy for a second. But yeah, what was coming to my mind was just, yes, we are in service to them, but what I'm hearing is also very much they're in service to us. So the whole point of us being in this position is so that we're giving them a space to allow them to help us as
Oh,
humans, as people, as a society, really.
the collective, and it's needed. So, and we're excited. Me and Megan love working with spirit so much. So, with that intention, that's kind of like the opening of the circle. And yeah, we are growing as people. So, we'll be back with spirit in tow. Okay. What have you come to talk about today?
It is as if you are in a snow globe and the snow globe has now been shaken. We would like to help make sure that those pieces that fall into a different place than they were before.
As individuals, the ones listening to this as it comes out, what can we all do to help these pieces land differently?
To understand yourself better, to understand how you create yourself, how you create your role, how you create your reality. This sounds complicated to you, but it is not. Finding more peacefulness within yourself during the day, more love within yourself increases the love that you're expanding. Every one of you are expanding at this very moment. Everything is expanding, and this is why you feel this level of chaos that is going on. So, the more you feel this chaos and the more you feel overwhelmed, take this as a sign that you are actually increasing and expanding your love vibration. You are not as numb to this chaotic vibration as you were before.
What's maybe the number one or the most helpful thing for people to find stability or help them navigate the chaos so it's not so frightening? What would be something that would be helpful for them to feel empowered?
Grounding is one. Spend time in nature, not just to be a part of that frequency of nature, but to understand the beauty and the magic of nature. Everything is within harmony, and this includes yourself. Hmm. I see this does not sound practical. If, if you can see yourself as a part of nature, this alone will help calm your nervous systems. Nature comes and goes and works in its own perfection. You need to be tied back within that. It's being within the mind that is disrupting this cycle. At least it believes that it's disrupting this cycle. So this is one. time in nature, or at least contemplating nature, even as simple as looking at a tree, hearing the sounds of the ocean, whatever that is most comfortable for you, be a part of it. Allow your body to be a part of it. Your mind is something different. Your mind needs to focus on something that they can understand, something that feels more stable to them. This is more for each individual to understand. Find that place in your mind that you feel more stable. What feels stable to you in this moment? What feels grounding to you in this moment? What is something that your mind can simply count on? Your heart beating, the carpet underneath your feet?
We're continuing going back to what our body's perceiving directly as a grounding method,
Yes.
because then we're focusing on what we're directly perceiving through our physical body and not the chaotic energies and information of energy that's surrounding us.
Yes. This is what I need you to understand before I can give you the tools and more creation of your reality. So many of you do not yet understand where to begin in these types of foundations.
Well, foundations is important for everybody, even those already on their path can strengthen their foundations. So this is very helpful for everybody who will
Yeah.
be watching.
This sounds harsh to say it. It's difficult to even have these words coming out. But the chaos that you're feeling is the chaos that you've created. Most of you now, or at least collectively, I see that you have determined not to create this chaos any longer. You have simply had your fill of it. But this is chaos that you have created. And no, I am not speaking you individually created this chaos. I'm saying as a collective, as humans, as this energy of the earth, you have created it collectively now. You're taking quite a sigh and saying, I do not want this anymore. In order to not want this anymore, we have to move through this. So at this moment, I'm asking you to go back within and grounding because the energy that you're emitting is furthering the chaos because you're feeling it. You're feeling your own creation. You're experiencing your own creation. So now I'm asking you to take a couple of steps back and go back into grounding, go back into harmony again. That way, when you start your creation again, you are more in control. Just because it's your creation doesn't mean you controlled it. It's just simply the energy that you're putting out. It's that, again, mismatched energy fields create chaos.
So, what you're saying is that we need to claim our sovereignty as individuals and not allow the collective creation to influence us so that we
Yeah.
can be more influential on the creation of the collective, as opposed to a loop of the creation, the collective influencing us, creating the collective energy when we're not aware. It just creates a loop of as a but if we're sovereign, we stop that loop. The collective energy comes to us, we receive that energy, we choose what we want to do with that, and then we send out a different signal which will influence the collective in an intentional
Yes.
way. Okay,
I will give you some metaphoric examples to illustrate my point.
this would be helpful for everybody. Yes.
There are some of you that already understand this, at least even on a small level. It is very helpful towards the collective by understanding that you remain in control. You remain the creator and you are aware of the output that you're doing. Then there is another group of you that are simply living as if they are watching a movie. They're watching everything go around them and they're responding to everything going on around them. It's not about them, it's them responding to what's happening. They are not creating in their minds, they are responding. My foot responded to stubbing my toe. Therefore, now I feel pain. I am interacting with the ground. It is slippery because of something else, and now I am falling down. This is how many of you are exhibiting your lives by responding to outside of you, responding to perceived fears in your mind, things like that. If you have an understanding of the weather, say a thunderstorm happens because hot air and cool air mix together and create this tension. This is what's happening. Both of these groups and both of these ways, I will keep the third party out of this discussion for a moment, are creating more chaos. Some people may feel that this is a good thing. We need the rain. Some people may feel that this is scary. We need to go be afraid of this storm coming. We need to go hide inside. It's the same dynamic. It's you responding. But again, to make it simple, it is those two ways of thinking that are creating more of this chaos. It would be more helpful if I can see that everyone is more creating rather than responding. It will be a smoother transition through this time, if that makes more sense.
Yes. What I'm hearing is that people need to take responsibility for themselves as creators, as opposed to just responding on old programs. They need to pause and say, how do I wish to respond? I have power here to respond.
Yes. I would like to bring up the concept that all of you at every moment are being influenced by something. Okay, this goes back to my watching a movie scenario. All of you are being influenced by something. I am being influenced by my thoughts. Where are my thoughts coming from? Again, as you say, are these old programs? Are these fear or survival responses? Are these thoughts I'm thinking about myself because someone said that to me, or my comparison to another, or someone in a hierarchy is telling me what to think because it suits them? There are so many ways that you are influenced constantly by something, so that most of you still does not yet know themselves as true form. So I ask you, what are you being influenced by in this moment? Okay, take that moment. Why am I being influenced? Why am I allowing myself to be influenced by this? Even if it is something simple, even if it is this spinach tastes good. What is telling me that? Did someone tell me that? Am I choosing that this tastes good to me? There is no judgment, only noticing this. So if I ask you, okay, I see that. I am being influenced. Just simply knowing that you are being influenced, good or bad, in your mind. Again, you're putting a judgment on it by saying good or bad, or I'm upset that I feel that way. It doesn't matter. Just acknowledging I am being influenced. It is my intention that I do not want to be influenced. I want to be in charge. I am claiming my influence upon my experience. I don't even want to say myself because it's my experience. You are living your experience. They are living their experience. It does not matter.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Yes. So the assignment for now, I will just say,
Yes,
just
having
start to understand that you are constantly being influenced. What you feel is true is only true to you. You may agree, you may have agreeing belief systems with someone else, but it's only true to you because you have claimed it to be true.
So for
This is why
homework,
people end up in power.
for those listening, if they wish to have homework, would be to acknowledge that they're being influenced and then inquire within themselves what, why, what,
Yes, I
what
see
and why.
people may be a little afraid of this. I am not saying that you are possessed by any forms. I am simply saying you're allowing yourself to be influenced by previous educations, generational systems, politics, nutrition, what have you. It does not matter. I am not saying this in a negative way. Again, I do not see the negative or the positive. I am simply asking you to notice, does this feel true within me, or am I thinking this is true because I am influenced by something? That is all.
It is how we discover who we are. Because
Yes.
sometimes I know for myself, I'm like, how do I even discover who I am? And so this is a perfect way to discover who we are.
Yes. And again, there is no judgment within it. Just simply you understanding or noticing, oh, that feels like I'm not sure. Maybe that was just me being influenced by something in my previous years or within my current society. Just noticing that and letting it go is enough to allow some of that to fall away and for you to rediscover. If we can uproot some of these deeper influences within yourselves, you have so much more freedom to create. Right now, it is as if many of you are just in boxes or cages, and it feels very comfortable in that cage or in that box because you want to live within the society safely. You want to have that human experience. It is very exciting to have a human experience. Don't get me wrong there. But the point is, we're trying to help you create the new human because this, as a collective, that is what human wants.
Beautiful. Thank you.
It's coming to my attention that occasionally I sound harsh.
You're fine. Be yourself. That's what this channel's about. You coming through and expressing is very important topics. And Megan and I love you. And I know that the people who need your voice the way that it is will see and hear and take it the way that they need to hear it. They may not respond to the voice of someone gentler because there are others who speak that way. And then they can be drawn to those people if that's the voice they need.
It may help that if I state very simply that the only reason why I am here saying this is because you asked me to, as
Yes,
a human collective and creation itself, this is simply my part to come in and to help you become what you asked.
you are being
If
of
you were
service.
to have decided that as a collective you wanted to blow up your planet, it would have been my role to explain to you how you could accomplish that. Thankfully, you have chosen a different experience.
Indeed. Yes, you're here to be of service to humanity, which is what we asked for help to channel and help with as a collective and as partners in giving a voice, right? Um, do you have anything for the people on the economic and war, the physical survival, how to navigate the physical survival fears that may be coming up, the economics on world level, um, things like that, kind of with this like war. I know that it might be a little bit before the video comes out, so taking into consideration what people may need to hear when this video does actually reach them.
Yes, I see that when this reaches them, some of the dust may be settling already.
I'll try and be fast on my editing.
Some of you are feeling very angry, it seems, and you're very valid in your anger because this anger is necessary to rip the blocks out of these buildings. If you can imagine, these are very, very old buildings and structures that are in the way of your new highway that you're building.
You're speaking in a
Sometimes you need to
metaphor,
find,
right? You're speaking in a
yes,
metaphor right now. Okay, just for
yeah.
clarity for the.
For clarity, it seems to be the easiest way to explain. And it's also the easier way that this vessel's mind works.
Okay, so the highway and the buildings are very old, and the anger is good for destroying the buildings.
Yes. I wish to not use the word destroy, but I will say taking down and replacing.
Okay.
Right now, you are at the beginning of your anger phase. So, yes, you feel angry, you feel afraid, you feel sad. Oh, yes. Looks destructive if I tell you to find your anger.
As a collective.
Yes. I
Yeah.
am not telling you to go beat the streets down. I am telling you that you need to point it in the direction that it is necessary, not everywhere. Right now, it seems that the anger is just bouncing around to anyone and everything. Yes.
How
Mm.
can, yeah, how do we do you have suggestions on what people may
Part of it
consider?
was, yes, when I was explaining your influence, a lot of this is your influence. You are being influenced to feel certain ways. You are being influenced even to feel fear. You will be okay. This is a part of the process that you're going through to get to where you want to be. And to get to where you want to be, you knew you would have to go through this process. But what I'm explaining to you will help you get through it softer. Some of you may wish to have the experience of having less financial resources because it's good for your experience. You wanted that experience. That does not mean that that time period needs to last a long time. So again, be in that moment, understand, hmm, this is my experience. I understand this experience. This is a part of this process. And let it go. Notice. Stop assigning value to the experience in the form of good or bad. Stop assigning fear to each. If it helps you to say that you are living within an unlimited, vast resource, it's you who is choosing how much of it you want, living within your lack. Right now, because so many of you are collectively feeling chaos, you are reaching in and grabbing a part of it yourself. If again, the influence, if you can take yourself a part of that, okay? I see that experience. I see that you are having that experience. I am backing up into my own experience, again, claiming myself, my experience. It will be much different for you. This is not being selfish. This is being sovereign. Going into your experience, as I said, nature, your body, finding the harmony not only helps you, but it helps those others as well. Your vibration level changes, which affects them, which affects the next one, which affects the next one, and that's how you create a change.
Thank you.
Yes, be aware that I am not saying this will be easy. In a human form, I am not saying that this will be an easy experience, but it is just more important now than ever that you can understand to pull yourself out.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely agree with that.
War is
And
not ending. I will say this. It is not ending. It is actually just beginning. But that war doesn't just mean the physical war and physical destruction. I am saying war within yourselves. That cold air and that hot air meeting. That is what you're in right now, is the storm.
storm within ourselves. Yeah.
The storm within yourselves is happening, therefore, it's happening outside of you. You're perceiving it outside of you. Can you understand that because many of you are living in the mindset of lack, that your economies will experience lack? If you are not living in the mindset of lack, it will not affect you simply because you have not chosen that experience. I'm choosing my different mindset. I am choosing this is what my experience will
Uh,
be. Therefore, whatever they are saying on the news about financial disruption is not there for me.
Humans definitely struggle with that one. Is there some method for people to switch to loosen that grip of lack?
I do intend to speak on this, but this is one of the reasons why I'm beginning with this type of foundation. Right now, if I were to explain to you all of the tools, I am afraid that your energy will be directed in the wrong direction.
I see. So you're not going to tell us because you're afraid?
No, I am looking.
Some are ready and
Some
some
already, yeah, some already.
so we can, if they're not ready, they're not going to hear. They're not going to be able to receive it. And then later they will hear it again and they may be ready at that time.
Difficulty is many of you just like to skip steps and get to what is more exciting for you or what you want.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I can always edit it out. Am I allowed to hear if I don't let
Well, I'll
other
say
people hear?
this. Again, that is a part of your influence. And I cannot say that that influence is all what you believe it to be. There are many, many others within your society and within creation itself that they find it better if you are experiencing lack.
Oh yeah, I know that for sure. And it's definitely something that's I've also been working on myself, but yeah, I just figured I would see. So, I'll probably edit this little portion this little conversation we're having will be edited out of the video. So,
It will come up again, I'm sure.
mhm. It's a very, humans are concerned about having enough and lack and survival. Providing for our bodies is a concern for everybody. They don't like to be cold, hungry, or,
Well, it's
you
a
know.
very important thing to know. That is a part of old human. That is a part of the old human experience. There is value to that. It's just, again, you have decided that you do not need that anymore. That is three-dimensional. So there is value, not to discount your experience because that is what you've chosen in the past. So that is there. I would like to understand fighting for resources. I would like to understand these sort of survival mechanisms. It's just over time, these mechanisms became out of control. Others have found it helpful to them to enhance these out of control. Because if I can control this group of you, if I can enhance these feelings of lack, if I can enhance these feelings of insecurity, therefore I have more power. Do you understand that example?
Yes, I'm totally going to use that in the video too, by the way, because that's a really good example.
That is fine. That was intended. But there are resources for every single one of you. Otherwise, you would not exist. That's just the law of creation. You're very lovable as a whole. You're very important and you're very lovable. You are just so, shall I say, mixed up.
What do you have to say to the collective and people who are, there's definitely people struggling with these like Epstein files and these pedophile people, these things being revealed about the people in power. Even I think I saw something,
Yes.
I don't know how true it is, that there was human DNA in the McDonald's burger, for example. Like these types of things are coming out. And a lot of people are really, really struggling with coping with how to handle this. They have no idea what to do or how to handle these revelations. Do you have anything to say for those people?
Well, I'd ask you to prepare for more to come as well, including other countries like Russia. More is coming to the surface. Remember that each one country individually, each group individually, each individual has their own, I guess you would call it karmic patterns. These are coming to the surface. I'll remind you, as a collective, you have chosen to not let these things be buried any longer. So you do feel very confused and very overwhelmed by information that you are perceiving as new when you've already had this information. Not a whole lot is actually changing. It's just more in your awareness because you have chosen it to be that way. You've decided that you want your eyes open. You've decided you want larger awareness of one another, of your actions, of your thoughts. And this is what's happening. Can I say that these are a positive thing for you? Yes, because again, you cannot move into new human having these sorts of things buried. It's impossible. You cannot. You need to move through these motions, but in order to move through these motions, you're feeling very overwhelmed and chaotic because you're perceiving these behaviors, you're perceiving this information as new. So much of this is only in your perception. Not everything that you're experiencing is even real. Those people that want to continuously be shock and awe over something, they want themselves to be proven right, they want their quote theories to be correct, they're going to continue to find them. This is again, I'll say closer to your law of attraction. But if you've decided in your experience that I rather feel peace, I have peace within myself, I am emitting peace, I rather feel peace, then those things simply will not be in your awareness. Someone may mention it and it flies right back out. You'll be able to understand that not everything is accurate. However, going down to a more human level understanding, these are simply things that are coming out because they cannot be buried any longer. You are been chosen. You're choosing to see the truth. And this is what you feel is truth. Secrets, greed, these are the beginnings of more that is coming. I'll say that. You'll find more and more truth.
Okay. So how I hear you
I feel
for
that you would like me to tell you that, yes, some of this information is coming out, so you will pay attention to that and not other things.
Right. How
This is
will,
accurate as well.
yeah. And a lot of people, what's something, a practical way for people to navigate that? Like the feelings they're experiencing. Those who, like for myself, I already, none of this is really new information for me personally, but for those who this information and stuff is new, and for those who are struggling with the information, what's a practical way for them to, like, this is really a catalyst for them to continue to claim their sovereignty? Like, oh,
Yes. Yes. I see that many people feel very shocked and very overwhelmed. But I would remind you to pause, notice that it is simply information. This is information I did not know yesterday. This is information I did not know 10 minutes ago. I see. And now, does this information affect me in this very moment? Is this affecting my body? Is this affecting my current perception? No, it does not.
or if it is like affecting the nervous system, that they have the choice to work with their nervous system. They have the choice to switch and choose how they're going to react to the information if they're noticing a reaction that they're not desiring, like fear or something. Would that be correct?
Yes, but again, this also goes down to the question of influence. How is this influencing me? Is there something that should make me feel influenced by this? Am I supposed to feel shocked? Am I supposed to feel angry? Am I supposed to feel whatever it is? Is that true for me in this moment? Is that true for me or is that true for someone else? How do I feel without influence?
Um, since this kind of brings me the, like, since we are really talking about claiming our sovereignty, because there's world events and so much about claiming our sovereignty, I know for myself, for a while, I'm like, what is that and how do I do it? Do you have anything for the collective on what, on practical ways to claim your sovereignty, or what even is that? What does that look like in action? I mean, part of it is what you're speaking of right now, noticing about the influence, how we're being influenced is part of claiming our sovereignty. But what more is there to that? Because it's a bit confusing for people, I think, because we've not really experienced it a lot of the time. A lot of us, haven't really true sovereignty, right?
I see. Well, yes, it is mostly what I am saying about understanding what is influencing me at this moment and practically just to say what feels true to me in this moment. I am a creator. I am a part of the creator. I am understanding how I am enhancing my experience or allowing the experience to run me. That's basically the largest first step.
That is beautiful.
Are you simply watching the movie or are you directing the movie? Because all of you are directors of your movie. It's a beautiful thing to have the human experience. It's a coveted thing. But from many perspectives, a lot of you are simply wasting it because you are sitting down and watching the movie.
And so claiming sovereignty is stepping into the role of director.
Yes, small steps, like I said, understanding how you are being influenced. It is difficult for many of you to understand that not everything feels right to you if you're actually looking at it. It seems safer to you if you just accept a truth. If I accept these nutritional guidelines, if I accept what these religious leaders or political leaders or whoever you see as an authority to you to say something. But they remember that they were influenced as well. So if you can get down to
Yeah.
the bottom of what feels true to you, what feels true to me in this moment? How am I expressing myself in this moment? That is you feeling into your true creator. There is no positive or negative. There is nothing else. Being sovereign is just being what you are choosing as creator. I am living my experience without judging the outcome. I am living my experience without assigning certain values. I am simply living my experience. I am creating my experience. I am not just responding to my experience.
Okay. I think that's a really great first steps for people and
Yes.
me. It sounds easier than it is.
Yes, I am aware that that's how I come across. I am trying to keep this more simply because these are foundational steps. I'm not asking you to become this ultimate creator. You're not going to see that. Well, some of you may, but immediately. There are other steps forward that I can help you with, but I'm asking everyone to go, even again, as I say, the most spiritual person or the most, you say, manifesting person. I am asking you, especially now, to go into the foundations, to come back into harmony so that you do feel stronger. It seems that it will help you to feel stronger as more is unleashed upon you, I'll say that way. For some reason, I am needing to bring up your Antarctica. It seems this is on my list, yes.
Okay, by all means, let's switch.
Yes, I'm feeling a resistance to speaking, but this is on my list, so I must move forward. There will be more information coming out about that, but it seems that many of you already feel that you know the truth of it anyway. But yes, there will be more. It seems that there are scientists there, and there will come a point where they cannot be quiet anymore.
About Antarctica. What about
Yes.
Antarctica?
Some of the origins of Antarctica. Okay, I will say some of your human origins on Antarctica. Some of your interactions with the rest of the universe within Antarctica. Yes.
Is it so? I mean, because even I've not really heard much about Antarctica. Are you saying that it's a ET hub kind of thing for human interaction? Like what about Antarctica?
Some sounds very, very silly to say because your entire planet is a hub of ETs. It sounds very silly
A
to
physical,
claim
then a physical
one
hub?
physical place.
Is it a physical hub?
They are physically there, they are dimensionally there. There is no them not being there. That's why I find this topic very silly for many people. Physically, yes, Antarctica holds a lot of your genetic information of human history, of the Earth's history. Does that make more sense?
Yes. Yes, it does. And what
Yes.
else would you like to say about it?
Well, it seems that it's, again, as you explained it, overwhelming or shocking to those to find out more about themselves. This sounds very frightening to a lot of you to understand more about yourselves, more about your human history, more about your connection to other beings, other planets, other things. A lot of that has been, well, I'll say all of that has been minimized to you until now, based on other, again, belief systems or fear systems, things like that. But a lot more will come out because it seems that more has been uncovered within the last 20 years of, I guess I'll say, DNAs, things that they cannot explain, things are not of Earth origin specifically. Again, that sounds very similarly silly to me because there is no pure Earth origin. Everything upon your Earth is from somewhere else. That sounds very frightening.
It's fine. It's cool. The crowd that's listening to this probably digs it.
Well, there will be more. There will be another. See, a lot of you seem to be afraid of the germs that will come, but
Oh, that's interesting.
there will be very important discoveries made. There already have been to you, but you don't know about them, but there will be more. It's just that for some time, they're not going to fully understand what they have. So, if I may ask you to not hear something and see that as the 100% that is accurate truth to you, because they are still trying to figure it out. It is not their fault, but they will need help from, as you say, ETs to figure out what it is. Because of course they're there. They've never left. It may take about 7 years. I'm seeing people asking when. It may take about 7 years, but we are hoping for a shorter time than that. That is not up to me. That is up to those who are there. This is very silly. You bring up the topic of your ETs, and I am looking at how many people misunderstand this.
Would you like to elaborate on ETs so that they can understand more of your perspective about that? Or if you have another topic, that is fine. I have a question after.
It's funny that you believe that they are different than you. It's just funny to see that you think that they must be separate from you. This
Yeah.
is your Earth. This is your planet. This is your human race. So many of you feel this way, and it's almost comical to me, and it's comical to many of them. But they have never left. They are you. You are them. They are the same as you. They are creator as well. It's just they've chosen a different experience. And much of their experience has to do with, quote, your Earth. You're simply there. There are some that have chosen to be the caretakers of Earth or watchers or monitors. It's just funny to me that you feel that you're so different and separate and alone, and you are waiting for your moment of contact. Your moment of contact, you don't understand. It's already there. They are physically there when they choose to be, because the ones I am speaking of specifically do go in and out dimensionally. They have chosen, I move back, I move forth, depending on how ready at that moment. But it's just simply funny to me. If I am looking at your planet, I am looking at millions of races just in one space.
I saw a video where I think it was the Palladians or someone was mentioning that we'll have like common people's version of alien contact soon, like physical, a physical ET, non-human looking thing coming and like, is that
Um,
what's your
yes, within the next 2 years, it has been chosen for that sort of pathway, but it depends on you as the individual if you have chosen that experience or not. I don't see it being able to happen while you are going through this transition of dimensions. Ah, yes, you would describe it as more of a light at the end of a tunnel. But yes, yes, you will have this.
so for like the general public, there'll be something that is perceivable to
Yes,
them
yes. For
about
the general
ETs
public, you will have more awareness that you are not
alone.
alone in your universe.
Right? I mean,
Yes, there already have been those that have chosen to make this sort of contact. There have already been, I'll say to you, waves of energy meant to sort of smoothen this transition. Okay, we're smoothing this. Uh, Many of your elites have already been aware of this because they have been given the directive to calm.
And
and
start
prepare.
releasing, prepare the general
Yes,
public so that,
yes.
yes. Okay. And
So
that's,
it is happening. Yes, it seems that many of you are interested. It is happening. And no, they will not look like what you expect them to look like. Many of you perceive them a certain way, and that is fine because that is your perception. But if one is standing here now, both of you humans may see it in a different way. That's all right. So please do not take it as you are supposed to see it. Remember, these beings that have chosen to do this are living interdimensionally.
yeah.
So one sign to you may be different than another sign, but there have been signs. And as a collective, as yes, physically, you will have an understanding that you are not alone.
Cool. Well, I'm excited to see how that pans out for other people. I don't know if I'm going to necessarily, I don't know if I even need that kind of experience. So
No,
I'm
you're already aware,
where I'm
but
already talking to ETs. I don't need to worry about it. Right?
yes,
Yeah. I'm talking to you right now, and you're classified as ET in the general public sense, in my opinion. So there
am
we
I?
go. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, I mean, I know that we're all one, but you don't have a physical human body. So anything that to me, ET is anything that doesn't have a physical human body. So technically, a dog is an ET to me,
I see.
right? So it's just because I mean, they're
How funny.
intelligent, they
All of
have
you just notice
consciousness.
differences.
Well, yeah, I mean, uh, it's different differences, right? So for me, it's what physical body, because energetically we're all the same and all connected. It's just that what is causing our experience is the thing that makes it different. I guess in that sense, then another human is also an ET. Another person in a human body could technically be a ET because they're a consciousness
Hmm.
in a different physical form having a different experience. So really,
I suppose genetically that is accurate. Many of you have different genes and ways of expressing those genes. I suppose that's accurate.
so maybe the viewers all need to think about what their own definition of ET is, um, even those that believe that we're not alone and have, connected with other non-physical consciousnesses.
I believe that they would like you to understand that they are not above you. It seems that many of you are expecting them to come and be saviors of some kind. Please come share your technology. Please come share your wisdom. While on the other side, there are those that think they want to come and take over your planet. This is not their intention, no. However, can I ask you to not see them as your saviors? They do not want to be seen as your saviors. They see you as brothers and sisters. You are just simply having the human experience, and they are not. They are having a different experience. But it's coming a time to not see the differences so much, if you understand that.
It's about
Humans are the
seeing.
only ones that are seeing themselves as so separate, separate from one another, separate from source, separate from ETs, separate from nature. You're the only ones that see yourselves that way. You're just choosing that expression, which is fine. But I'm here to remind you that you have chosen not to do that anymore.
Thank you.
Interesting. I feel that I need to explain that just because, say, you speak to me in this way, I am not in my physical body, I am in this physical body, I am energy. And you have other beings that you speak to in this way. I feel that I need to explain that many of you just believe that you are the only physical. There are physical. There are beings that are physical and they're having their own experience. I'll say it because in her mind she sees Annie. You know of Annie.
Yeah.
Annie is having her own life experience. She's having her own experience. She has her own form.
She is a physical form.
But if she chooses to, yes. She is just advanced enough in a separate dimension that she can choose to go back and forth.
That's a really
Humans do it
interesting.
all the time. They're just not aware that they're doing it. But yes,
Oh, how do
Annie is
we
not, as you say, just spirit or just energy. Annie is living her own, you'll say karma. She's living her own experience. She's living her own expression. You have understanding of her because she's fulfilling a contract that she made. It's the same thing as you humans experiencing. These other beings are doing the same thing. They're just living a different experience, but they have chosen that experience as a creator. And many of them, because of the dimension that they're in, because of that frequency that they're connected to, they have a better understanding of how they can express themselves as creator, which is why to you they seem so much more advanced. You humans are moving through dimensions all the time. It's just your physical bodies, your three-dimensional existence doesn't allow you to do it as you see on movies or as you believe the others are doing.
are you willing to share how we can work to perceive when we're moving through dimensions or whatever? Because I mean, I'd like to work on that subtle. It must be something pretty subtle. Like, I could just even, okay, fine. I know that just by intending that I want to know about that, that I'll start to
Yes, you
have that
understand yourself
experience.
as you dream while you're asleep. You understand that when you are in trance or in deep meditation, you're having a different experience.
So
That
those would
is
be actual
an
dimensions.
example of moving through a dimension, yes.
Hmm. So remote viewing is because it goes through time and space, the actual like remote viewing that people develop to remote view is interdimensional travel, really?
Yes. Remote
So,
viewing, do not set the intention of where, when, there is no space, there is no time. That is the same thing as moving your consciousness through a dimension.
okay, so maybe it has a different, maybe then in which case I need to ask, what's your definition? How would you define a dimension? Because maybe it's a matter of the way my definition of a dimension and your definition of a dimension could be different. So how would
I'm
you
speaking
explain
of
it?
dimension of the way of a specific collection of frequencies.
Okay.
In the third dimension, you are in a specific collection of frequencies. You stay in that collection of frequencies. There is a low, there is a high. Therefore, you see the perceived limitations within that frequency because that is the agreement upon that dimension of this range of frequencies. As a soul, as a consciousness, you have the ability to go through any dimension, any number of frequencies. There is no limitations on consciousness. There is no limitation on that. So hopefully this will explain this to you. As humans are moving through into fourth, fifth, sixth dimension, what's happening is they're shedding those lower frequencies. And you understand in order to shed, you're moving through them. You're aware of them, you're saying goodbye to them, and that is why you're feeling perceived difficulty through a lot of this because you're moving up the next range of frequencies. Your goal is moving into a frequency that does not have the dimension of, say, violence. Violence has its own frequency. Moving into those higher dimensions, you will have no possibility of violence because that frequency cannot exist within that specific dimension. However, you're welcoming in, I'll say, increased awareness, increased depth to some of your spiritual natures. That is within that dimension. Does this explain this?
I think so. Yes. I think it enough that people can have a more of an understanding that when they work with their psychic abilities, they're really traveling through dimensions.
What you're doing is you're going outside of those dimensional limitations, perceived dimensional
The perceived
limitations.
dimension. Okay.
For example, if
Mhm.
I see as a being from the eighth or ninth dimension, they do not understand wars or the things that you understand, illness. How do I explain this? For them to want to come and speak. Okay, so if they were to come here and speak just like this, they would have to lower their frequency to the point that they can come here and speak like this, which is fine. It is done all the time. The same as you. You travel different frequencies and dimensions every day. But to them, the human concepts are only concepts to them. They have no idea what that means. So when you are speaking to Annie, for example,
Mhm.
I am looking at conversations, and when you speak to her and you're asking questions, she doesn't have an understanding of a lot of what you are talking about because it's only simply a human concept to her. She does not have that experience
Okay, because
because
I've
she is not a part of that vibration.
right, and maybe she has. So, in order for a being or I want to say person that is of the higher consciousness, that like Annie, for we'll keep using Annie as an example, I think would be cool. So she understands the concept, but so would she have to like be a human or something like that in order to know it through experience? Like, or at one point, did she know
I
it through
see.
experience and she increased her dimensional, she upgraded enough that the at
Yes.
one point she had the experience directly, but that in order for her to increase up the ladder, she had to like forget about that experience. And now it's just a concept because she had to shed that experience. Am I making sense of my question here?
Yes, I will explain my perception of how they operate, and maybe this will help.
Okay.
For her specifically, what she does because of the agreement that was made, what she has done is chosen that I am living in this seventh dimension. Okay, my experience is in this seventh dimension. Time, space, matter do not belong in the seventh dimension. But in order for me to understand humans, because my chosen is going to live in the third dimension, moving into fourth dimension, moving into fifth dimension, things like that, what she has chosen to do would be to increase her vibrational tone. And by doing that, what she has done, you'll say, oh, homework. She was able to tap into the collective understanding. I guess some of you would call them Akashic records. It's larger than that, but that's what she does. To tap into that, she lowers her vibrational frequency because, again, she has opened the amount that she's able to adjust. Sometimes you would find this to be very difficult, but many beings that are living outside of the third dimension are very familiar with this concept. This is what they do all the time. She's opened herself up to the understandings almost as if you would go and read a history book. You don't know what it's like to live in Hawaii in the 1920s. But if you read a book about it, you'll have those concepts. Does this make sense?
Yes.
So, this is what she has chosen to do. Not only has she been able to plug into that and have these concepts available to her, but because of the contracts, she can feel and understand more of the human experience by choosing to tap into her other, I'll say, connections or parallels. So she's chosen that she can pause, lower herself to feel that. But again, in her experience, she will never understand fully what it feels to be a human, what it feels to be a human with illness. with violence. She can only understand them as concepts. And when she lowers herself down to be able to feel these, it gives more depth, but she will not understand it as you will, or as she will.
Okay. I I actually really um understand that personally. Just I've channeled and trance beings who are like, I don't get what, I can't even say these lower vibrations because they're really just, I
Because
don't
they don't
understand,
understand it, that
because
it's
they
not
don't
a
know
part of
this
their vibration. Yes.
vibration. Yeah, they're just like, I have no idea. I don't even want to experience that. So yeah. Right. But
Yes.
then I've talked to ones who are like, oh, you're having a human experience. You're so lucky. I can't wait. This It's so amazing. What you're doing is sacred. Like they were like almost jealous waiting for their turn. It was kind of cute. So
Yes. It's just a matter of
the being wants to experience.
what the being wants to experience and what they have chosen. For I will say Annie again, she has chosen because of this is her role as a part of her structure that she is able to handle a large opening of frequency. It's the same as the humans that you describe as mediums, trance mediums, healers. You have chosen to be in this position as a large holder of frequency.
Okay.
It's just
Awesome.
that you seem to think as humans that it's much more difficult and not as attainable, but that is just the laws of your particular dimension. It feels more difficult. For someone in the seventh, eighth, ninth dimension, it's very simple.
It's just
But
that
they would
there's
only understand human concepts rather than having the true understanding of what, say, violence, pain, illness are. That's why it's difficult for them to understand why you are so stuck in these modes, and that's why so many of them are coming to speak now.
so yes, it's very cool. Interesting conversation. Oh, I forgot my question. Oh, so when we die, right? Like, so when I leave, I get to keep the information that I gathered through these experiences that I'm having as a human. And when I move up to the other vibrations, I get to keep this deeper knowledge and understanding because I've come here and done the thing. Like if I go to the same vibration dimension as Annie, for example, I'll be able to transfer my experience into that collective frequency. Or so
I
do you
see.
understand what I'm saying there?
You would understand a concept if you have chosen that. But again, to say if you wanted to be in this seventh dimension, the frequencies that you have accumulated and understood here would not translate. You would have to release those and go back into kept in a lower, I'll say, box of information.
So why would I come here to experience this if I can't? Like, do you understand? Like, so on a deeper, bigger soul level, like I just wanted to come and play this and have these experiences because I know I'm so obsessed with vibrations myself. I wanted to experience these vibrations that I can only experience here. I know this. And I'm loving experiencing them because they're so different from what I would have had before. But so you're saying that to go where I came from, I wouldn't be able to keep this knowledge, like, right? So does that make sense?
I see. The knowledge never leaves. The knowledge just goes and gets stored with the rest of your soul's information, the
Okay.
rest of all information. But no, it never actually leaves. It is always there for you to understand or tap into, yes. But,
But until I come and
hmm,
experience it, the depth of understanding would not be available to me.
right,
Okay.
right. It is like the souls that rather than going through the full lived in human experience, it is like the souls that rather say, plug into the Akashic records and have a human understanding before coming in, which many of you have done that because
Yeah, it
you,
seems like better.
they rushed to come here. And so therefore you needed to do that. It is different. It is different in that way. It's just a deeper level of understanding, yes. Each of your experiences and each of your vibration is valuable information. So that does not, I see. It seems as if you were asking me if that information is still valuable after this physical incarnation. Yes,
Yes.
it is. But the point I'm making is that in this physical incarnation, what you're discussing is again keeping yourself within that third dimension of time. You will be outside of that dimension if you're not in your physical body, so it does not matter. All of that information is valuable even in this moment. You are sending it off to the collective. You are sending it off to your higher self, your other, you have a, can I say that? Saying your alternate or parallel in the ninth dimension is receiving that information from you at this moment. It's receiving your knowledge, it's receiving your experience. They cannot understand it as you can, but it is valuable information to them, gathering your experience.
Um,
Yes. So
yeah,
many of you don't seem to like it very much, but then so many of you just want so badly to come and do it.
right. It's like there's a waiting list to come and do this. So, yeah. And well, as we go
Why do you
on,
think that many of you die as you stay young? Because so many are clamoring to come to your earth. Your lifespan should actually be more like 200 years. That's what your physical bodies can handle. That's what the earth can handle. But you have not come to that conclusion yet, and there are so many beings trying to come to earth. Therefore, the only compromise is you live longer or live shorter rather than longer.
hmm, that's interesting.
Spirit is your perception. To call me a spirit does not make sense. Most of your collective understanding of spirit you call human spirit. But to call, say, Annie spirit is inaccurate.
That's why I call
If
it
your definition of
ETs.
spirit is no longer in your human physical form. So the human spirits that mediums speak of, they're speaking of human essence that is outside of the human body.
So you're saying we need to use a different term in our descriptions and other things for those of you who have no connection to the human experience,
It seems that everyone needs to have
the
a better
distinction.
explanation and distinction of what you are calling spirit. You seem to call all spirit as just form that is outside physical. That does not mean that they don't have their own form.
Okay, so for myself personally, it's like spirit or ETs. Spirit are those who have been human, ETs are everything else. Do you have some suggestions so that we can start working on education and terminology that we use ourselves? Because you're making a very good point that there needs to be a distinction as people move forward, as humanity moves forward, especially in the community of mediums and things like this. I think there's some people
I
who,
suppose this is not that important,
it is. There's
but it
people who
does
say
seem to be confusing for you.
cosmic. There's people who use cosmic energies, right? Like, so it's like ETs but humans, especially moving forward. I think it's an important thing for to have distinctions.
Yes, it does. Seems that human understanding, again, is collectively calling spirit is a human based spirit just outside of the human body, still retaining its human understanding, human knowledge. But to call an ET, you would say spirit is inaccurate. They are living within their dimension. The human spirit, as it leaves the body, is just living in another dimension. I see that I am trying to correct what you would call spirit means someone is no longer living or someone is living differently. I see that. Or that something is over for them. That is called spirit. To call me spirit is inaccurate.
I would totally agree with that.
I am simply a collection of information
But
banded
you,
together. I, for me, or us, I'll say to make that easier, I am outside of dimensional laws.
so
I'm not sure how to explain this to you.
you don't consider like, so you would would you consider yourself a consciousness as the human's terminology of consciousness? Like, so I right now I have a consciousness. When I leave my body, I become a spirit with a human vibrational consciousness, I suppose, right? And you have a different consciousness that is, thank you, that is a collection of consciousnesses or a collection of information on a specific frequency.
Yes, in your terms, it would be simplest to state as a collection of consciousnesses. I see that's difficult to understand for many. How can a collection of consciousnesses speak?
How can they be unified? Because, right? That would be, but I mean, if you have a whole bunch of people on a boat, would be a nice analogy for the humans, would be if there's a bunch of people on a boat, that is what you are. You're on a boat, which represents a frequency which all the consciousnesses are on. And so they select a speaker from that group of consciousnesses. But because they're all in the same frequency, everybody has access to the same information at exactly the same time. Would you say that's accurate
Yes,
for a human analogy?
for human analogy, yes, humans think very, very small. So you can understand there's a human consciousness. You can understand, hey, there's a Pleiadian consciousness, there's an animal consciousness, there's an earth consciousness, there's so many different consciousness groups. You yourself are a part of several, every one of you. You're all contributing to that consciousness. To try to explain to you in a human understanding of speaking to me, I am close to creator consciousness. Therefore, I am a collection of consciousnesses bound together as one. Just as we were explaining, your information that you are living in this moment, that information is rising to the top of that consciousness. And then the human consciousness may collide with another consciousness, which may collide with another one. Each, all of them, all goes up into one source, creator, but I am simply a part of a larger consciousness. Right now, I have threads among many consciousness. Some of them may touch on each, like an individual person, like here. Say she is connected to this consciousness because, again, of contractually, and she is a part of this. But I am a collection of consciousness or information. And it seems that would be very difficult for people to understand how I am able to speak in this way.
In some ways, we did give, or you did give, an example that people can go and watch in the other videos where we met those who are part of the bubble of consciousness that is speaking. We met the vibrations. We talked a little with the different vibrations. Megan channeled those vibrations that said things. And then it collapsed into the top of a pyramid. You're explaining the pyramid analogy. So if people want to go back and speak to the other consciousnesses that are in the thread that is you, that is speaking right now, they can.
Yes. So to put it in this understanding is I am outside of your understanding of dimensional laws. When you speak to beings coming through in this way, they are speaking through their individual band of consciousness, their individual laws. Again, I will use Annie as an example how she has trouble understanding, but again, for her, she studies and she learns and she opens. They are speaking from them. I am speaking from all. I am outside of those laws. I can pull on information. I cannot understand exactly what you experience as a human because my consciousness is above it. It's outside of it. But I have access to those different bands, which is how I am able to send information through in this way.
Right. Because the information can go from the top of the pyramid to the bottom of the pyramid and vice versa,
Correct.
because we're all connected. And so it's really just a big circuit.
Yes,
If
I am just a collection of that circuit. I am using this pathway to speak.
so, what would we, so if spirit, to get back on our original point of spirit is classified as a human essence that doesn't have a body of consciousness, that's that but band. So to say something that's not that would be other dimensional being,
Yes, that is more
or
accurate.
so really an ET is extraterrestrial, but maybe extra dimensional, or I forgot what I said.
Dimensional is more appropriate.
Dimensional is
Yes, if
so
you're speaking
dimensional
to
being.
dimensional beings, because the majority of them that you are speaking to have the ability to go interdimensionally to speak to you, that is more appropriate.
Okay.
To call someone spirit, at least in my way of human understanding, spirit already fulfilled their purpose of that human life, therefore they are just in this one place. That's not actually accurate, but that's what the majority of humans understand as spirit.
That's
Most of the
okay.
beings that are coming through and speaking through channelers, they are speaking through interdimensional beings, beings that have chosen and lowered to go through in this way. So, to answer you, yes, I would recommend differentiating between speaking as spirit, as mediums would explain, I am speaking to spirit, versus most channelers are speaking to other dimensions. They are just touching upon
Interdimensional,
other frequencies. Yes.
interdimensional beings. Okay, I will make sure to go through and correct that on our description.
To say spirit having a human experience, I understand why it makes sense to most people, but most people use the term spirit to define an energy that's already finished with something. I am speaking to a spirit because they died. They are no longer in their physical body, therefore now they are spirit. I need to speak with someone who can speak to spirit. That's a very small and silly way of understanding. You are all creator experiencing a human experience.
Just as you're a
And
creator, experiencing the experience that you're experiencing.
yes, for me, I'm having a multitude of experiences right at this moment. But what you are focused on is my current experience in this moment of speaking.
I think I can actually kind of grasp that in the sense of when those of us having a human experience are feeling the sensations in the body, but are also aware of the energetic things that are happening around. That's kind of like how you are having this experience right now, but also aware of the other experiences that you're having. Would that be an interesting, like a correct analogy kind of thing?
Somewhat, but what I would explain what you are doing is you are allowing the limitations to fall off of third dimensional existence. That is you operating in multiple dimensions. That is you opening up that space to exhibit different sets of frequencies.
Which is what you do or how you
Yes,
are.
I
Okay.
can plug into different frequencies at will. Yes.
Okay. Cool. I just curious, like so for my own like grasping of what your experience may be like.
I will say I experience everything and nothing at all times. Dimensions are a collection of frequencies bound by that dimension. So I'll just say the third dimension, if you're using numbers, the third dimension has numbers 20 through 30. Okay, so frequencies 20 through 30 can operate within this third dimension
And interact together.
and interact together, yes. Most of you, even though you have the capacity for 20 to 30, are only operating within maybe 23 through 25, which is why so many things seem unbelievable to you, but yet they can happen. This is when you say miracles or prophetic dreams or something like that. Do you understand this? This is you touching on another level of that frequency, but it's outrageous to you because you are used to only operating between 23 and 25.
And so as we're expanding our consciousness, like,
You're able to extend your reach. If you're in the third dimension, you have the capacity for being from 20 all the way to 30 at any given moment. You can reach down, you can reach up, you can be where you want to be. But many of you feel very stuck within just a certain range. So it's difficult to even explain the plant because you might not even understand that, at least many people. The plant is understanding this part of me is within this third dimension. This is my leaves. These are my roots in the ground. This is how my physicalness lives within this. But the plant consciousness is far outside of the third dimension. The third dimension only holds this physical body. The consciousness is far above that range of 30 because the consciousness of the plant understands that it's not the physical, it's part physical, it's experiencing the physical.
and so because its frequency is part of the three dimension, we're able to perceive it because we're also
Yes.
part of the three dimension.
Yes. Does this help you understand how a human being in the third dimension is able to perceive well outside of that third dimensional range? Because you are rooted, the physical body in the third dimension. But is that all of you? No. That is simply the part of you that is resonating in the third dimension.
So would there's like these exercises, things that I've found fascinating, but for the collective, would it be helpful for them to try and see how their body perceives the energy of, say, a plant, perceives how their body perceives the energy of a dog to help expand their awareness or whatever. Would you say that would be like helpful things for them? Or how?
You may, but your physical body is going to stay within the limitations of the third dimension. So you may try this. You may help your body increase because that's a part of the issues that you're running into now. The third dimensional frequencies are trying to expand because humans are trying to move into operating within the fourth dimension. So what's happening is that many of you are pulling up in frequency and trying to stay, if I can use the same metaphor, into the 27 to 30. Because if they can get up to 30, we can all move up into 30 through 40. Does that make more sense?
I think so. So
So,
what
for the
people,
most part, many of you have been living in this 20 to 30. This operations of frequencies operating between 20 to 30. But a lot of you have been, at least in earlier humanity, you say it was more like 2021. And then generations past, maybe you're just operating more on the 24 through 26. Right now, because of the collective movement upwards in frequency, you're more so operating between 25 and 30. You're having both highs and lows because you're trying to extend and push the boundaries of the third dimension. Wanting to move into the fourth dimension, you have to push boundaries and sort of go through that birthing process,
so
which is fine. This is natural. This is meant to be. That is what this is. It's just very difficult on your limitations of the third dimension. So if you're wanting to extend your range or understand what that is like, it's not just the physical, it's not just experiencing the physical, it's integrating all of your consciousness, all of the dimensions of your being. Your physical being is within this third dimension. It cannot operate outside of that. That is the laws of that dimension. That's what it understands. However, the other bands of your consciousness and awareness are far outside of the third dimension. So, what this process is asking for is for you to integrate all of that.
is there something we can do to help us integrate that?
Well, as I said, understanding that you are a creator, having a human experience does help. Yes, taking care of your physicalness, your physical body does help. Everything I've said will help this process, but just to go back and as you were saying, the exercises are helpful to not just using your physical senses, using the awareness. If you want to, I don't know that it's that important to you, but if you want to, you can start to open up your understanding of the other dimensions and how you operate within them. I am choosing to understand this plant. This plant is living in the physical. How can I understand its other consciousness? I can feel it. I can feel the energy of this plant. Okay. If I feel the energy of this plant, that energy is obviously not physical. That is not within my understanding of the third dimension, but yet I can feel it with my physical hand.
Okay,
This is a blend of both of those understandings.
I think that I'm getting tripped up here because I've never operated with, or at least I haven't only had the physical. Like I've struggled with just being in the physical and not having the other awareness. So I think that
This is
I'm
what is very difficult for humans because they believe themselves and they believe their understanding and their experience as just physical. But your what you would call like mental bands and emotional bands are outside of the third dimension.
that's a different dimension because it's not physical. The third dimension's only this physical. Is that's what you're saying?
Ah, yes, I see how that is confusing for you.
Like for me, like so I'm just this will help even bring even more clarity to people who are watching because there are people who are energetically sensitive, I guess, too. So
Not to say, yes, I understand, not to say that it seems that my explanation is making people think that they are just pieces of Play-Doh, and that is inaccurate. What I was trying to explain is that most of you, even though you are in the physical dimension, there's quite a range that can happen within the physical dimension. It's just most of you are only aware of a couple of the spokes on that wheel. So at first, I am just asking you to operate more of it. By you understanding, or by your modern science trying to understand that not everything, or that everything, even physical matter, is made up of energy, is moving you up to the next spokes on that wheel of that dimension. Does that make sense? So I am not saying that the physical dimension means everything is pure physical and no consciousness, because without consciousness, this wouldn't even be a conversation.
Well, consciousness and a dimension are separate things.
Yes,
Okay.
merging within this realm.
So realm is different than a realm is different than
I
a
am using the
dimension
term
and
realm to
consciousness.
explain
Uh,
living within the dynamics or laws, you'll say, of a certain dimension, but
okay.
not being locked to it. If you were simply only experiencing third dimension, just time, space, matter, you wouldn't be able to have this conversation with me right now. You wouldn't be able to do the multitude of things because you wouldn't even have the understanding that you can go up the spokes of the wheel on that consciousness, on that dimension, excuse me.
It's okay. Because we're talking kind of complicated. Honestly, I've never really um under like people talk, oh, ascend to the third dimension, you're operating in the fourth dimension, blah blah blah. I've never really looked into the other humans' ideas and perspectives on that myself personally. So
A
you
lot of
would
people say a lot of things.
you would have more of an idea
That's
about
okay. They are operating from their understanding.
standing. Yeah.
So, what I am trying to explain, and hopefully what a lot of them are trying to explain, is just operating on a higher range of frequencies.
Okay.
Many say that the fourth dimension is the layer of imagination because it's not physical, tangible, but it's just as real to you. If you were to imagine every single day that there was a monkey at your front door, every single day you imagined it, you created it, would that monkey not exist? It would. It's operating in the fourth dimension because you are a creator.
So is that so there's so when we create, say, thought forms or energy, like a business has energy that is working in the fourth dimension
Correct.
and thought forms. And when we send out, say we're angry at someone or we send love, that's working in the fourth dimension or more. Like that's a
Fourth to
thought
fifth
form
dimension, yes.
mention, right? Okay. Interesting. No, this is
The
good
fifth dimension
distinctions.
is what a lot of people seem to be trying to say, explaining the fifth dimension. But the reason why they're saying this is the fifth dimension has an increased capacity of loving, which is why they are saying they are trying to move up into the fifth dimension. But hopefully, this does not confuse you. But what you humans are doing are actually going back and forth between the third and fourth, even in your waking daily life, because you're operating from your mental field and your physical body.
Okay.
It's just difficult to try to explain that these frequencies aren't always fixed. You're tapping into different frequencies and blending them together at any given moment, depending on what you're doing. Besides, your consciousness, your what you call higher self, is also operating on another dimension. This is I suppose this would be an explanation for what people are calling glitches in their memory banks or glitches in their realities. This is just them flipping back and forth into different frequency levels.
If when people listen to all of that, that maybe there'll be some good clarity about what people are experiencing um in that, because I never really thought too much about the whole dimension thing and what experiencing the dimensions is like and stuff like that. So
I
those are
don't think that it is
really important.
increasingly important for everyone to have that kind of understanding. What I believe would be more important to say is my point is that I'm trying to show that you can very easily move through them. And I just ask that you do not fixate so much on being stuck in these laws of third dimension. You are already moving up the ladder of the higher realms of the third dimension as you move over. So, for the example, as you say, I am sending out energy. I am increasing my capacity for love by those actions and intent. You are already moving yourself up dimensionally. You are increasing your capacity for love. You are choosing forgiveness or understanding over hatred, things like that. That is what they're referring to when they're moving up in frequency. That does not mean that you will just suddenly be sucked out of your body. This means that you, as a being, including your third dimension, you're just increasing your range.
Okay, cool.
Yes. And generally, generationally, and things like that. Yes. You will have different bodies. It doesn't mean that you do not have a body, it's just a different, lighter version of your body. I'll say your word souls are having experiences on every dimension, on every level at any given moment. So everything is important. Don't see that it is not. Everything is important. Everything has value as an experience. But stop denying yourself the opportunity to experience a multitude. When you are, say, picking up information psychically, you are just simply tapping into another frequency. It is equally real. It is just another frequency. Therefore, you're not experiencing it in your physical. Does that make more sense?
Um, I think so. I'm having a hard time thinking at this point. Well, yeah.
It is if I dropped a large book in your lap and asked you to read the whole thing, yes.
Um, well, and I think part of it is that I'm my spirit or my interdimensional team um, and my consciousness is not in the body so much. So there just comes a point when being is the preferred form of existence, and thinking of the next question or what we're actually doing is rather challenging. uh, what else do you have to say for the collective today?
Seems I said a lot.
You did say a lot. Um,
I would like to say that I hope that you are excited for the things that are coming. This may be very difficult for you to understand that, but I hope you're very excited for all of the changes and all of the awareness that you are coming into of who you truly are. These are the illusions that are simply falling away. And it's described as a difficult process for any species, but you are here to be a part of that. So do not let that rule your perception and rule your experience. You're just simply witnessing this experience. If you want to become a part of this change, that is why I have explained what I said earlier, there are steps to this because we want to help you create your new human, your new selves. This is why. And many of you have chosen to go that route, and that is why you're here, to help the collective. But don't be afraid. This is just simply the process of going through and reaching that other tier. You want to experience more of the higher vibration, so you need to allow yourselves to move through the lower. Many of these are simply illusions, and as soon as you figure that out, it becomes easier for you in your emotional states, I'll say.
Beautiful. Thank you.
And I do hope that you enjoy to hear from me because we do plan to speak more. We have started the process now. But I will tell you, because many of you want to know that, yes, it is chaotic and more is coming, but all that means is that there is more to help you because you've asked for it, and so we are here.
We appreciate your presence and your words and your message, and that you're going to come back.
Yes, I plan on coming many
Yeah.
times.
Mm-hmm.
As I've said, this ball is rolling now.
Rolling now. Yes. Well, thank you, the council. And yeah, we will stop recording, and thank you, friends and family, viewers, and everyone that is viewing this. Hi, friends. Megan's back.
Yeah. Hello again. Sorry, I was trying to come back and uh, understand what just was said and what happened. Wendy's filling me in. So, but yeah, thanks for listening.
And thank you, Megan, for being such an amazing channel there, and allowing the interdimensional beings, the council, to speak with us through you.
Yeah, that one was a lot. I feel like my brain is still trying to come in. So,
Mm-hmm. Well, so the viewers know, even though the video is much shorter, we have been sitting with Spirit for about 3 hours. So I edit out things, the video, or I edit out pauses, some of the getting in, and occasionally I get a little carried away, and I'll probably edit out a couple of things that are about me or about just kind of a little weird or maybe seem confusing. But there's a couple spots I'll edit out. Yeah, but thank you, Megan. And thank you, viewers and friends that are, yeah, friends. They're friends. We're all one after all. My mind's a little bit blown from all that. So please put your comments and everything, and questions if you have questions for the council in, and we will write the questions down and have the council answer them.
Do it up.
This is